If you're from St. Gabriel Secondary, one of my Sec 3 EMath students recently scored A1 for his WA2, and we went from a C6 in WA1 to an A1 in WA2 within just one school term. And I want to break down how we tackled this exam that you set for in very specific detail and share with you a case study on how we actually did it from someone who just barely passed math in term 1. So in term 1, he actually didn't join my tuition center. He only joined in slightly after the March holidays when he realized that his trajectory was going downwards, right? And then he realized that he needed help, and that's when he decided to seek for help and join the center. So I'm very glad that he actually took action early on, because when he came into the center early in term 2, it was very early and quick for me to realize that he had a lot of gaps in his learning. And what he told me was that his math teacher in school didn't really teach the subject well, because most of the time he was given SLS videos to watch, because most of the time he was just asked to read the textbook and learn the things by himself, or given videos to watch. But as we all know, that is not the most effective way to learn, because in order to really learn math, you got to learn things in a way that you can understand. And in order to learn things in a way that you can understand, it's best to have someone to explain things to you in a way that intuitively makes sense to you in your own words. So that's exactly what we focus on at the center. Even though my classes at the center are small group classes, what I always aim to do is to cater my explanation to the whole group of my students in the center. I never ever teach from a video, I never ever teach from a textbook. Every single concept that I teach comes directly from my mind, and I make sure to cater the examples that I use very specifically to make sense to whatever you already know. And that's how I make learning math seamless for my student. And we focus on the two main topics that came out for your WA2, which were your indices and your coordinate geometry. I exposed him to my entire question bank of all the different possible question types that could come out for indices and coordinate geometry, and we hunkered it down, right? After completing all of the basic question types, we rinse and repeat, and I also gave him access to my full topical practice papers, which we ran through every single one before the WA. And what was interesting was that he told me that the WA exam actually was easy right after he did it, which came as a surprise to him, because in term 1 he really struggled, like he didn't know what was going on. But now in term 2, he could walk out of the exam thinking that it was a piece of cake. And truth be told, yes, it was a piece of cake for him, because he managed to score an A1, and I would think that this percentage is pretty high, right? Considering that you only are graded upon 25 marks. So gaining majority of the marks to begin with is really quite impressive already. So if you're from St. Gabriel Secondary and you are watching this, let this be proof to you that if your cohort mate can do it, you can do it as well. And if you want access to the same systems that I used to teach him at the center, and make sure that your foundations are solid, make sure to WhatsApp the number on the screen over here, and I'll share with you more details about how we conduct our classes, and if there's still slots available left for you to potentially join us on a weekly basis. If not, if you prefer to learn online completely independently while still getting access to every single material that I use at the center, watch this video next. So if you're still struggling with your basic EMath concepts, or you already understand your basic EMath concepts but you want more practice questions, more examples of the type of questions that usually come out in your exam, what I've done is that over the past 3 years, ever since I started tutoring, I have been creating this huge resource called the Library of A1 Math Academy, where I literally reteach you the entire syllabus from scratch. And not only that, but I expose you to all the different type of questions that can come up for every single chapter and give you the solution to every single question. So for example, if we take a look at this one EMath chapter in Sec 3 called indices, right? I literally filmed every single chapter from Sec 1 to Sec 4, right? So the whole entire syllabus. And if we go under syllabus over here, you see that I have broken down every chapter into 4 modular portions. So the first one is where you can download all of my handwritten notes, my solutions. You can just click on the PDF and download it. The second portion will actually bring you to the part where I reteach you the entire chapter from scratch, starting with all of the basic fundamental concepts. So if you just click on any fundamental concept, let's say the idea of laws of indices, right? Under the laws of indices over here, there's quite a few laws, right? I go into each law very in depth, as you can see on the screen over here. Every single law I list it down for you nicely, and I make sure to go super in depth to show you how it's actually being applied. Not only that, but I also go through all the usual exam questions that you will see, right? So for example, if we click on just here, right, the first question type, I give a video solution to every single question, and you can see I also give the PDF answer to every single question, right? So when you get your hands on this resource, you are really getting the full support, the full fledged of resources to support you throughout your whole EMath journey and to help you score the A1, even if you don't attend my classes physically in person. So if you'd like more information about this library and how you can get your hands on it, just WhatsApp the number on the screen over here, and I'll send you more details over there. And I look forward to seeing you on WhatsApp over here.